There's a new sensation making waves in the world of women's combat sports. Smilla Sundell doesn't look like a killer, but make no mistake, she's one of the most lethal women alive. At 17, she became the youngest world champion in Muay Thai history. Now at 21, she's now plotting a move from kickboxing to MMA, and her skill pedigree makes her an easy pick for future UFC champ. Her work in the ring was truly incredible. She was even breaking and finishing grown men. For this video, we're going to take a closer look at a prospect that you can expect to hear a whole lot more about in the future. The Smilla Sundell story has had its roots deeply set in the fight game. Born in Sweden in 2004, she entered the gym at the age of 5 and has barely left ever since. At first it was karate, but later Muay Thai became her primary interest. At the age of 15, she decided to make a home in Thailand to focus on her craft, letting her family go back to Sweden. After being inspired by fighting icon Stamp Fairtex, she joined her gym, and the rest is history. Before we take a deeper dive into her career, how about our first look at Smilla taking on a male fighter? It's a short clip, but out of these two fighters, it's very clear which one of them is the most aggressive. The fight ended in a draw, but the message was very clear. We'll get into the real pro fights eventually, but for now, here's one more showdown between Sundell and a male fighter. And this time, you can see that she's getting even better, pushing the pace with her opponent immediately. Her shots are clearly having an impact too. That much is obvious. Sure, the guy in question is very noticeably not a high-level opponent, but Smilla's dominance is truly something to behold. Nicola Hollander came in with a background in British Muay Thai competition, known more for durability than her world-class technique, while Smilla Sundell was still a teenage prospect, building her reputation through activity and physical advantages at range.
And a big ass.
The matchup arrived early in Sundell's rise, long before world titles or global recognition. At that stage, she was sharpening her identity inside the regional striking scene, learning to impose size and tempo against experienced opponents.
Welcome, Smilla the Storm Sundell.
Hollander represented a test of composure and ring control, a chance for Sundell to demonstrate her calm presence and structured offense translated beyond regional matchups into a larger international setting. This fight took place back in 2020, showcased a very inexperienced 15-year-old Sundell, putting in valuable minutes in the ring.
Sundell looking for the big push kick in the face. Drives in with...
You can tell she's not the finished product just yet, still rounding out her overall game, but you'll see the progression moving in the right direction as time goes on, and that means the finishes will continue to rack up.
Girls lock up. Good. Left body kick. Right hand there from Calendar.
Hollander was a fitting test, but she was never going to be able to compete with Sundell on a technical level.
This is better from the Swede. These are the... Nice body kicks.
Right now, these rounds represented solid experience for Smilla. But apart from that, she was in full command of this contest.
As we say, a beautiful body kick, and then slicks.
The result pushed Sundell further along a path defined by steady development rather than sudden stardom. Victories over experienced competitors like Hollander helped establish credibility and hinted at the championship run that would follow, reinforcing her reputation as a composed young striker growing into elite competition. In other words, the best was yet to come.
All three judges agree it's a unanimous decision. The red corner, Smilla Sundell.
Here we have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Diandra Martin brought an aggressive, forward style shaped by experience across Southeast Asian Muay Thai circuits, making her a meaningful benchmark when she faced Sundell at one, full circle.
Stands at 172 centimeters tall, weighing in at 127 pounds, Diandra Martin. She stands at 173 centimeters tall, weighing in at 125 pounds, Smilla the Hurricane Sundell.
Sundell was still early in her promotional tenure, yet already attracting attention because of her size and technical discipline for such a young fighter. Martin's willingness to engage created a contrast in rhythm, testing whether Sundell could maintain structure under pressure. The bout came around at an important stage in her development, bridging the gap between prospect status and legitimate contender, while giving fans a clearer look at how she handled opponents willing to trade and absorb punishment. This was a very different version of Smilla, especially when compared to the last fight we covered. She was still a teenager, but now she brought a whole different range of weapons to the table.
The Muay Thai rules thus far. Good.
And she was hurting her opponent here, especially to the body.
Smilla puts that vice line. Up at 7, this time up at the count of 8. Only a few seconds remaining. But it's going to be another chance. Up at the count of 8 again.
The last round had been a bona fide disaster for Martin, showing just how far behind Smilla she was. Once Sundell knew she could hurt her, it was only a matter of time before she secured her third and final knockdown, bringing the contest to a swift end.
She's a teenager. She's 17, right? 17 years old. From Smilla Sundell from the corners of Pedigree. You've got to return. That's it.
Martin may have been a decent fighter, but Smilla Sundell was very clearly a special one. Afterwards, Sundell's momentum continued to build within one championship. Wins over experienced opposition elevated her standing in the division and accelerated her climb toward title opportunities, confirming that she measured pace and physical advantages could translate consistently against established professionals.
Smilla Sundell.
𝐃𝐨𝐽 arrived as a decorated striker with a strong boxing base and recognition within one's atomweight and strawweight striking ranks. When she met Sundell for the inaugural strawweight Muay Thai world title at 156, the stakes shifted dramatically. Sundell was just 17, yet already viewed as a physically imposing contender, while Buntan carried experience, composure, and fan familiarity. The matchup was a collision course between youth and proven skill, positioning Sundell on the biggest stage of her young career. With a championship on the line, the fight marked a defining moment that would shape perceptions of both athletes within the organization's growing women's divisions. 𝐃𝐨𝐽 was experienced and well regarded, but in there with Sundell, you wouldn't have known it.
Changes, a lot of pressure coming from Sundell. Jab and that kick.
Smilla looked as comfortable as can be, even while standing on the verge of recording some truly monumental achievements.
Nice right hand the hairline.
Bridge right there from the guard.
Smilla unrelenting, as Dragon said, continuing.
As the fight wore on, it became clear that Smilla was destined to earn this championship belt. Her days of being considered a rising prospect were over.
Said earlier, all around the world, they took to open up theirs.
Old too, Michael.
Nice right, he got a 40-37 to Smilla Sundell after 4. And Jackie Boutin, not done yet. He's got tremendous height.
Now it was time to prove that all of that hype had been worth it.
15 remaining. And straight through the guts. Jackie with a jab.
Capturing the title elevated Sundell into historic territory as the youngest Muay Thai champion ever. The victory reshaped the division's landscape and singled Smilla out as a bankable star for the promotion, one who combined technical and physical attributes with some real marketability, the it factor, if you will. And the crazy part is, she wasn't even close to reaching her physical prime.
Youngest world champion in history. How does that feel?
It feels great. I'm so happy right now.
Smilla 𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐿 went into their kickboxing bout with experience on the European scene. Known for toughness and a willingness to exchange combinations, the matchup was a chance for Sundell to showcase adaptability outside pure Muay Thai, stepping into a rule set that emphasized pace and boxing-heavy sequences. At that stage of her career, she was already a reigning champion at Muay Thai, and she was expected to continue to showcase her progression. Facing a durable opponent like 𝐵𝐿𝐿𝐿 provided rounds to demonstrate composure, distance management, and the ability to adjust her style, while maintaining the pressure that defined her rise. It was clear that Smilla was considered herself to be a student of the game, the type of fighter who wasn't afraid of encountering setbacks, so long as she was learning from it. In this bout, you can see her confidence truly starting to peak. 𝐵𝐿𝐿𝐿 was talented, sure, but Smilla was operating on a different level of technical excellence. This was a championship-level performance from a fighter who was understanding her own potential. Though youth was still on her side, she was very clearly starting to see just how far ahead of the pack she was. Her opponent was showing a lot of toughness, sure, but that's just about the only thing that kept her on her feet for the final bell. The performance backed Sundell's standing within one's kickboxing landscape. Competing across rule sets broadened her profile and suggested long-term potential beyond a single division, doubling down on her image as a young champion, willing to test herself against varied styles and competitive environments. 𝐿𝐵𝐿𝐿 Rodriguez entered as a former strawweight Muay Thai world champion. Carrying notable wins and a reputation for sharp elbows and finishing instincts. By the time she faced Sundell at One Fight Night 14, the division had evolved, with Sundell now holding the belt and Rodriguez seeking to reclaim her position at the top.
Please welcome the reigning and defending undisputed Smilla Sundell.
This time, though, Smilla would go out there looking to make a statement, and trust us, That's exactly what she was able to do. Their meeting carried championship implications and was one of Sundell's most experienced opponents to date. Rodriguez's pedigree ensured a high-stakes atmosphere, challenging Sundell to prove that her title reign extended beyond youth and momentum into sustained dominance against proven elite competition within the promotion. Just watch how Smilla's volume and overall aggression slowly start to pick up as the fight goes on. She was always clearly confident in her ability to hurt her opponent, but the more the bout continued, the more Smilla began to roll downhill on her target.
Up there, Sundell was landing effective elbows.
It's just so effective, it doesn't allow Sundell to swim in and get control of the plum.
When round 3 came, Smilla was truly hitting her stride, finding her flow state and becoming increasingly dangerous in there. Rodriguez was a solid fighter, make no mistake, but Sundell was drowning her out there. Defending against a former champion reinforced Sundell's legitimacy at the top of the division.
And big knee there by Sundell, another one. She has rocked it. 10-second ball come body.
Those body shots.
Sundell in the ring punches, and this one is over. Wow. On world champion, Smilla Sundell.
The win added depth to her resume and highlighted the gap that she was creating in the strawweight landscape, strengthening her status as a long-term centerpiece of ONE Championship's Muay Thai roster.
Muay Thai champion of the world!
𝐦𝐸𝐫𝐞 built her reputation through strong performances on the European Muay Thai scene, entering ONE with momentum and technical confidence. When matched with Sundell for the strawweight title, she was yet another stylistic challenge, bringing a composed striking approach shaped by high-level amateur and professional experience. By this point, Sundell's championship reign had drawn attention to her dominance, making each defense a statement about the division's hierarchy. The matchup underscored how quickly she'd moved from prospect to established champion, facing contenders eager to test whether her reach, pace, and composure could continue to hold up against increasingly seasoned challengers. Even by the end of round 1, Natalya had been shown exactly how far behind she was. Smilla was building momentum pretty steadily now, and as the break between rounds approached, it was clear that there was some real nervousness in the 𝐾𝐿 corner. Eventually, Smilla began to turn up the heat again, pushing a pace that her opponent simply couldn't keep up with. Her finishing instincts were truly evolving fight by fight, and as soon as she smelled blood, she was able to capitalize. Another successful outing grew Sundell's legacy inside ONE Championship. Each defense added a narrative centered on youth meeting consistency as she continued to accumulate wins against respected challengers while reinforcing her image as a dominant presence in women's Muay Thai. But this would be her last appearance in the sport, at least for now, because a new combat sport was beckoning. Miranda Barber was clearly a different kind of opponent compared to Sundell's usual Muay Thai challengers. The matchup drew attention because it crossed stylistic boundaries, placing Sundell opposite a fighter with a distinct competitive background and fan base, the Las Vegas Showdown in MMA. For Sundell, the moment reflected the expanding visibility of her career, while also raising some questions over her skills as a grappler, which was totally untested. How would she deal with the increased pressure and the scrutiny that came with it? And what would happen if Barber could take her down? Smilla broke down the fight on her own YouTube channel, and it was as dominant as you might expect. By the end of the first round, Sundell was in cruise control, finding a home for her striking. Nothing would be sweeter than kicking off her MMA career with a dominant first-round finish. And sure enough, that's exactly what Smilla had in store for us. Moments like this emphasize how far Sundell's profile had grown from early prospect to widely discussed champion. Regardless of outcome or format, her name increasingly became tied to broader conversations about the future of women's striking and crossover opportunities within global combat sports promotions. In other words, she was simply a natural when it came to fighting, no matter what the rule set was.
Boom.
So here I thought it was Muay Thai for a sec. Oh, now, ooh.
But what do you think of Smilla Sundell? And do you think her transition to MMA will eventually lead her to the UFC? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single upload. As always, thanks for tuning in.